What's going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here. We are here today with another debate room, and I'm joined by Owen, Tar, and Jay. How are you doing today, Tar? What time is it? Where are you?
Fantastic. Doing great after the result yesterday. Still over the moon.
And Owen, sunshine in the UK?
Yeah, it was not sunny today, actually, but yesterday was brilliant, to be fair. Wembley, unfortunately I wasn't there, but it looked absolutely fantastic. Great scenes and fantastic to get through to the final.
Yeah, just another step on the way, Jay, isn't it? Now it's all business.
Yeah, literally, mate. Every single game's just business now. Next big one Tuesday, then another big one Sunday. So yeah, every game, mate, massive.
And I mean, today we're going to talk a little bit about Sadio Mane, and I think he gets a little bit of a raw deal just from Liverpool fans as well, because everyone's crying about Salah's contract. Mane's in the exact same position. Why is no one talking about Mane's contract, Jay?
I think the only reason will be because Salah's put up top goal scoring numbers every season now. He's top scorer again now. Top scorer last season without his goals last year. I don't think we finished third. And to be fair, Mane hasn't been playing to the standard that he has played at previously. The year we won the Champions League, the year we won the Premier League, I thought he was unbelievable, to be honest, mate. And don't get me wrong, it's a high bar to be able to be playing at and to maintain. But for a while, he probably hasn't been playing at that standard. So I think that's probably why people are more interested in the Salah situation than Mane. But I've got to be honest, I think over the last few weeks, Mane's looked a bit more himself. Over the last 2 or 3 games, more so than Salah anyways, in better form than Salah.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I picked this for the debate room today, Tao, was you looked at social media at half-time, the best probably first half we've played of football, and everyone's going, Kanate, Keita, and Diaz. I'm sorry, Sadio Mane was absolutely destroying everybody. Why is no one talking about it the same?
He's an unbelievable player, but I think that going off Jay's point, he's not been that main number one for Liverpool. And it's very, very difficult to be that main number one when the number one is Mo Salah and the ridiculous numbers that Salah has been putting up during his 5 seasons here at Liverpool. So the biggest, I guess, competition in the way for Sadio Mane isn't actually himself. He's putting up the numbers. He's been incredible for Senegal. But it's just the fact that it's human nature almost when you have the number one player in your team, all eyes will be on Mo Salah. And when Mane gets in a bit of a drought, when other players start stepping up, the names like you mentioned, who people don't usually see play well, all the attention, all the light just shines on them instead. So Mane's been that forgotten player because he's been incredible, but there's always that other player in front of him. So it's just an unfortunate situation in the end. He's been brilliant for both club and country. Just for Liverpool, though, there's so many stars. That's why.
Well, Owen, I'm going to come to you because always good for a controversial opinion, I find. Yeah, Salah's stats are great, but when the chips are down, when there's no one else to do it, Mane got the goal against Villa when we won the league. He was on fire in the semi-final last night. He beat Salah in AFCON and to qualify for the World Cup. When someone has to win a game and nothing else, no one else can do it, why is it always Mane if he's not Salah's level?
I think it's probably down to what happened last season and the fact that from what we've seen of him at Liverpool, he's always been one of our best players. And last season, he just wasn't anywhere near himself. I think it's an interesting point Tar makes there. I can't remember one season where Mane's actually been the main man. It's always kind of him getting outshadowed by whether it's Coutinho in his first year, then Salah when he first arrived, Salah throughout, Firmino as well. And now it's like Jota and Diaz. So look, I do feel sorry for him in ways that he's kind of getting underappreciated. And it was great to see his performance yesterday because I kind of felt that his passion kind of gone for Liverpool. I can't lie. The way he'd been celebrating goals, it kind of looked like he was a bit fed up and kind of, yeah, I thought I was worried about that a lot, but it kind of looked like that's come back now. So that's really great to see. And yeah, hopefully he's regained that form now and carry on and help us on our quadruple quest.
And Jay, yeah, I think a lot of reports were saying Mane was suffering from long COVID, in the first variant that he caught when Liverpool players went. And it did look, we can't ignore last season he was off the pace where we just qualified. But, as you've all said, yeah, he might not have ever been the main man. I think he shared Golden Boot one year. I think that was the year we won the title, wasn't it? Him and Salah both equal scored. What does this guy have to do for Liverpool fans to think, actually, he's the main man? Because he's playing number 9 now as well, with Diaz and Salah. So he's becoming even more versatile as a player. What does he need to do for Liverpool players to shout and scream about his contract?
Keep doing what he done yesterday on a consistent basis, because I think what fans have been guilty of is falling out of love with him, and it's based on what Owen said. It was last season's performances, and when we were in a rut, it was Salah's goals that got us in the third place, not Mane's. If you'd actually asked me before last season, if you asked me to pick out the two, I'd have said Mane every season. I thought he was the better player, to be honest. Gets his head up, creates more out of nothing in terms of dribbling and things like that. I just think last season it's had a big effect on people's opinions of him. Even this season, at the beginning, his numbers are all right, but I don't think there was any games where I thought, Mane was brilliant today. There weren't. For me, it's only over the last 3 to 5 games he started looking a bit more like Mane. And Firmino's been the same, by the way. And to look at it another way, it sort of worries me that they're starting to do that now. The contract's running out. Like, both of them seem to be turning up again, which I find, hopefully it's just a coincidence, but they both seem to be looking a lot more like themselves over the last 3 to 5 games, which they hadn't done previously for me.
And I'm going to put you in a hypothetical. Liverpool do it. They get the quadruple. You're very happy. Look happier. Get the quadruple. Who wins the Ballon d'Or?
Ooh.
Because Salah's been absent for 2 months.
Yeah.
But you'd be damned if it's not a Liverpool player after winning the quadruple.
Yeah.
But who gets it? And please put it in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If Liverpool win this quadruple, who wins the Ballon d'Or? Because it's a really interesting...
Yeah. It certainly is. But before answering your question, I'm gonna sort of maneuver my way around it first before I get slandered in the comment section. But no, actually, I'm thoroughly interested. Mane or Salah? Let me know in the comments, please. I think if you look at the 2 graphs of the players, whether it's Salah or Mane, there's been similarities where there's been some highs, there's been some lows, but the overall distance between Mane's graph and Salah's graph, that's the difference here. I think with Mane, the highs are high and the lows are very low, but Salah, it's not as much. And I think that what made me think this way was away at United last season when Mane didn't get the start. That's your biggest game of the season. And if you want to be considered as the best players or even the best player in their team, you have to start that game. And it just shows that Mane was so out of form that Klopp didn't even pick him in the starting lineup. This season, though, Salah's not scored from open goal since, February? It's been how many hours since he's scored from open goals. But in the biggest games against City in the league, in the FA Cup yesterday, he still gets the nod, which means that that graph that I mentioned earlier, Salah's gap is much less. With that all said, I think Salah gets the Ballon d'Or. It's just the fact that he's the highest goal scorer. He's contributed to the assist tally as well. And it's a bit of a drought, but it's a drought that fans around the world, including people inside Liverpool, still think he can revive himself and be a great player. So I think Salah edges it for me.
Okay. And obviously, you know, some people will say, well, Mane's won AFCON on top. He's qualified Senegal for the World Cup. Egypt, you know, lost in the final. What is it all about stats now, Owen? Is it, you know, you look at Firmino and he's a stat breaker. You don't look at stats when you look at Firmino. Why is now goal scoring the epitome of what makes a good winger?
I think going back to your point there about trophies winning the Ballon d'Or, I believe that they've changed the rule this season now. So players like Jorginho, who won the Champions League with Chelsea and the World Cup with Italy, Euros with Italy, sorry, can no longer like win it just because they've won the trophies. I think it's now down to individual performances. That's what I've heard. So I think that kind of does change it with Mane. I think otherwise, yeah, if he did win the quadruple or certain trophies, and then obviously what he's done with Senegal as well, then yeah, I think he probably would have been a certain to be top three. But I'm not so sure about that now. With Firmino, it's kind of a weird one because he still is only 30 years of age. We kind of all look at him and think he's kind of come to the end of his career now, when really he could be playing for a top team somewhere, where Jurgen Klopp obviously doesn't see him as that man anymore. Obviously, we have got Diaz, Jota, Salah, Mane, all fantastic players. But I think it's all about having that squad depth now, where there's no need to get rid of Firmino because he's an absolutely fantastic player just to have around.
And Jay Helion makes a great point. How many players from Africa have ever won the Ballon d'Or? Well, it's a big round number. So is it more chance that Virgil's going to win it than regardless of if Salah bangs in another 20? Or does it, as Owen mentioned, you know, it comes down to finals and performances in big occasions, which is what some of the criteria is for this now?
For me, it's the longevity of the season. So obviously, beginning of the season, everyone would have said Salah because his numbers, he was putting up ridiculous. He was getting more goal assist contributions than games played. But when we're talking about Mane winning the AFCON and qualifying for the World Cup, it's not like Mane dragged Senegal through that. He didn't. It's not like Mane was this player who, I know he scored the winning penalty, it's a penalty. He didn't, you know, have these 10 out of 10 games throughout the tournament. He didn't whatsoever. So if you're going for consistency, for me, it wouldn't be any of the front three to get the Ballon d'Or if we win the quadruple. It'd be either Van Dijk or Alisson, because he's been that good for me. And I don't ever understand why Trent's never in the discussion. Without Trent, our team dynamic completely changes massively. I always think Trent should be in the discussion. So for me, if a Liverpool player does win the Ballon d'Or, it shouldn't be any of the front three, in my opinion.
So we're moving, and do you know what? It's a really good shout. Trent is a great shout.
Mate, he's ridiculous. Trent is ridiculous. He's a generational talent, mate. You're not going to see a player like Trent pass that ball again. There's two, De Bruyne and him. Owen, Modric after that outside foot last week.
Before I go on, but I think with Jay, what you said there is correct. I think Trent doesn't get enough recognition. People like to slander the fact that he can't defend and all that stuff, but he can defend. That's it's BS.
Yeah. How many one-on-ones did he win? I was looking at this, right? Yeah. Owen, Firmino, Trent, what other Liverpool players could be in the running for the Ballon d'Or? Just while I pull up some stats to rant about Trent.
It has to be Virgil, I think. Definitely up there. Considering he was out of the team last year with that horrific injury, coming back in, and we've just been a different team, haven't we? Honestly, like I don't think anybody could have seen what we've about to do this season. I don't think like anybody in the world would have seen that coming. Like people saying, pundits saying Liverpool finished, Liverpool 1 season, 2 season wonder, Klopp's team, yep, they're no big deal at all. Well, Virgil van Dijk's come back in and he's just gone, right, now we're gonna win it all. And it's absolutely fantastic. Look, I think he's the best centre back probably of his generation, and he needs that kind of trophy to kind of cement that there.
Yeah, I think, how do you quantify leadership, and it's how it changes the entire team when they're on the pitch. Because against Benfica, it looked like they were following instruction and muscle memory and stuff like that. But when Virgil's on the pitch, even though he's still tentative in certain games, everyone seems more confident, and you see Alisson make less saves. Trent, he's not being banded around as a Ballon d'Or winner or a Ballon d'Or contender, but are we moving from the front three and going, well, actually, who has been the most consistent person for the last 12 months? It's probably Trent.
Yeah, it's really a no-brainer for this one. I think that every single position on Liverpool's starting 11, you can sort of say, if he's hurt, I think he can come in and put on at least 80 or 90%. But with Trent, it's the only position, in my opinion, that if he gets hurt, Liverpool are done. The passing is gone. The vision to unlock those through balls, gone. And the way he just holds down the right flank for us, it's completely disappeared. And whenever people say Trent's, just good going forward, I think you should take a look at him and how he does defending, because his defending stats are they're respectable, and they're
not just respectable. I'm going to give you the best right back defender in the Premier League that people are saying.
Reece James. That's been looking right there.
Right. Here we go. Reece James, 5 clean sheets. He's played 19 games. Trent's played 27 because he's been injured. 5 clean sheets. Trent 15. Blocks 2. Trent 4. Interceptions 12. Trent 35. Tackles 22. Trent 31. Successful tackles 19. He's made 20. Last man tackles 0 to 2 to Trent. Clearances 12. 29 to Trent. Headed clearances 7. 14 to Trent. Aerial battles 1. 11. 15 to Trent. The guy can't defend, but he beats him on every single defensive stat. And yes, he's played more games, but some of those are absolute clean sweeps. And then that's not even going to things like team play, assists, big chances created, forward passes, 752 against 213, touches, 2,500 to 1,200, through balls, 0 to 16. And then people just say he just spams in crosses. Yes, 215 to 74. Dispossessed, 15 to 15. The numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
People will tell you he can't defend.
That's the biggest problem, I think. I don't know where they get that statement from or where they get that thought from. Maybe it's some compilation they found on YouTube. I don't know. But, it's funny to me because he's generational. I agree with Jay. Going forward, defensively, just everything he does. And for me, I think he's been the most consistent. He's stayed healthy. Knock on wood, he remains healthy for the rest of the season. And yeah, what Liverpool do going forward, it will surround him.
What about Fabinho, Owen? I'm sorry, but there's something about when that guy moved back into midfield last season, our entire team changed. He's just somehow able to stop teams playing and not get yellow card. Doesn't pick up that many yellow cards and stuff like that. Where is Fabinho in this conversation, Owen?
I think he should be there for sure. And considering the Ballon d'Or rules also changed now, so it's actually done on the season year, not the calendar year. I think that's also worth mentioning because last season I don't think he was great. Not really his fault being moved to centre back. By the end of the season, then Klopp kind of realised you may as well just stick Fabinho in the midfield because how crucial he is to the team, and then play Reece Williams and Nat Phillips in defence because there's no point in bringing him out because he's that good in his position. So yeah, look, if you get past Fabinho, then you've got Van Dijk, haven't you? And then even Alisson. So look, he's an absolute rock in the team. And yeah, Liverpool don't really have a like-for-like replacement. We tried Henderson there, other players, but it's not really worked out. So like you said with Trent, you can't really replace him. Fabinho's another one. You can't really replace him.
Kyle Walker against Trent.
Oh,
Sorry, we might as well.
I think the
other
only thing
brilliant-
Kyle Walker is better at is pace. That's it. He's
faster.
probably
That's
faster. That's it though.
That is it.
That is it. You can
Clean
make the
sheet, 10
argument that
against
maybe one-on-one it's harder to beat Kyle Walker because Kyle Walker recovers with his pace, but everything else Trent wins by a mile.
But Trent's made more last man tackles.
Yeah,
more clearances.
Never mind. Yep.
Without pace, Kyle Walker doesn't even play for the top 14. No, he doesn't. I'm being genuinely honest. The amount of
very
times
quick.
I see that lad get beat, and then because he's that quick, his recovery is decent.
Yeah.
If he weren't quick, mate, he plays for Burnley. Honestly, no disrespect to Burnley, but like, nah, no chance.
Yeah, again, team play. He's outstripping Kyle Walker. Like, you know, and I like Kyle Walker as a right centre mid on a back five. I think he works there because he just sweeps. But none interceptions, 14 against 35, tackles 15 against 31, successful tackles 6, Trent 20, last man tackles 0, Trent 2, clearances 15, Trent 29, headed clearances 8, Trent 14. He outstrips him again on every single thing. So maybe we talk about Mane winning, obviously AFCON and stuff like that. Trent gets overlooked by England. Can he really win it if England aren't going to pick him to play his position because he plays in such a way no one can seemingly fit him into another team unless you build a team around him? Why aren't England building a team around him? Elio's saying Trent is third choice for his national team, and that is utterly ridiculous. But
do you know why I don't think he gets an England team? Because the England team's negative. They play with 2 old midfielders. They would never utilise Trent in the way that you need to. England play negative football. Not asked what anyone says. They play with Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips in holding midfield. It's 2 old midfielders. So straight away, the attacking onus that he gets at us, he's not going to get at England. And to be honest, long may he continue being the third choice. I'd rather him be fit for Liverpool. Not asked what England do.
yeah, I haven't watched an England game in a while, to be honest.
2001 when they beat Germany, and that's because half the team is a Liverpool team. The last time I cared, mate. When they beat Germany 5-1 in the friendly.
What was I doing?
Honestly, and it was because it was Owen, Heskey, Barnby, Gerrard, Danny Murphy, Carra, and someone else. So I was like, oh, it's half Liverpool.
I remember in 2014 we had a team where it was like Glenn Johnson, Gerrard, Alana, Milner, and we had like absolutely loads. Henderson, it was like Sturridge, Sterling, like fantastic team then. Well, it didn't do very well for England, but it's quite entertaining to watch.
Right, we're in the last 5 minutes, so I'm just going to quickly get each of his reaction. Another Chelsea final, Owen. Another Chelsea final. Is this going to penalties as well?
I hope not. I hope not for the nerves. But look, bring it on. At the end of the day, Chelsea, they haven't been playing fantastically well over the past few weeks. I think we'd have them any day.
Do you think the ownership should be done by then, I thought, Jay? So, you know, they could have that little bounce of a new checkbook walking through the door. Or
maybe so, mate. I think any game that's between Chelsea, Liverpool and City, you're just going to get a great game, mate. That can go either way. The teams that want to play football and go at it. So it's going to do absolutely nothing for your nerves whatsoever. But from a neutral point of view, mate, it'll be a great final, which can go either way. Chelsea on the day, mate, are a great. How they lost that game to Madrid, I don't really know. Other than that unbelievable pass from Modric.
Benzema, I think, just
as well, yeah. Benzema was brilliant as well. But on the day, mate, Chelsea had a great team as well. So I'm sure it'll be boss for neutrals. I'm sure you 3 will end up with hair like me come the end of the season. Because, yeah, mate, it can go.
Right, he's going back.
It can go either way, mate. So, yeah, I mean, I'd prefer to play Palace, but if you want to win the big trophies, you've got to play the big teams, mate. And it puts a better shine on it when you beat the better teams and win it, because then you can say, we played the best and we still won it.
And it's a fair point, isn't it? People are saying, "Oh, we've had a Europa League run to the Champions League final," which is probably fair. Inter Milan, Benfica, followed by Villarreal. Yes, they've done brilliant to get there, but probably not the hardest running we've had. But to get to the FA Cup final, we've had to take on Man City, and now we're going to have to take on Chelsea, arguably 2 of the top 5 teams in the world right now.
Yeah.
So you get some luck somewhere, don't you? It's just the FA Cup is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it will be a tough one. I think that you add the Klopp versus Tuchel element to it. It adds an extra layer of spice to the game and the debate surrounding, they've had similar career paths, who's a better manager, all that. But I think this Chelsea team on their day gives us more of a threat than City at times, I feel like, because of their setup. And, City, they have matches where they completely just shut down. But I don't really recall recently when we've played Chelsea, even in the season that we won the league, it's been tight games. It's been 5-3s. It's been 2-1s. With City, sometimes even Liverpool fans can almost agree that we've thrashed them at home, whether it's in Europe or the Premier League. But Chelsea, under a different manager and now under Tuchel, they've been consistent. So I think it's going to be a tough task.
Okay. So just to finish off, because obviously this is a Mane Ballon d'Or, could he be in the running question debate room? I'm going to finish just looking at the league, looking at where everything is, where you think things are going to run. Who do you think is going to win the Ballon d'Or? And we're going to get a prediction from each of you. And Owen, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think is going to take it now?
Unfortunately, I think it will be Benzema's, just because it seems like the media seem to love him. I think he's been really underappreciated for a number of years now, kind of in the shadow of Messi, Ronaldo. And yeah, I think people are just like on that hype now, unfortunately, for Liverpool fans. And I think he'll win it.
Benzema bandwagon. And media train of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
What about you?
100% agree. I think it's going to be Karim Benzema, 34 years of age. You look at what he's done, being only the 4th player to score a double hat trick in Champions League history. And he's got over 20 goals as well this season. So a phenomenal striker. He's the clutch king, and the Spanish media adding the element that he's playing for Real Madrid, they'll go crazy for him and try to make the case for him to be the Ballon d'Or, which I think he'll win it.
And you, Jay?
I've got to make it 3 out of 3, to be honest, mate. Yeah, and to be fair to him, he's deserved it, mate. He's had an unbelievable season. His numbers this season are fantastic, honest to God. Like, I've always liked Benzema, but this year and the last year, he really has been brilliant, mate. And coming even back into the France fold, he's scoring goals for France when he plays as well. So
he had a falling out with them, didn't he? But he's back.
Yeah, and he might not have won the AFCON, or his team might not have won all 4 cups, which is, to be fair, usually how you win it. But I think he's had a brilliant season, to be fair to him, mate. And so's Lewandowski as well. Like, he should still be mentioned as well. But if he didn't win it last year, then I don't see how you can ever win it after what he's done last season. So probably Benzema, mate. And I think a lot of it, if you play for Real Madrid or Barca, it helps.
It's going to be... I struggle to see how, if Liverpool do this unprecedented quadruple, it's not going to be a Liverpool player. Mane's got the added perk that he's won AFCON. But I unfortunately agree with you. I think the Real Madrid media train just get on hold of something and they power it through.
They've been waiting for a long time because Real Madrid's just been awful in the past few seasons. So now it's all the hype building up.
Yeah, and one good season in a lower than par Spanish league, he scores 20 odd goals. It's going to be a shame, but again, we're going to be probably ranting about it when come award time, complaining that certain players end up 14th and stuff like that. But I think we're all agreed here on the LFC transfer room that at this moment in time, if we were to predict who wins the Ballon d'Or, it's not going to be Mane. Even if we do the quadruple, we think it's going to be Benzema because of the season he's had with Real Madrid. And fingers crossed he knocked Man City out because I would rather play Real Madrid in the final than Man City for me.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to remember as well, James, you know, even if we won the quadruple, I'm the same Van Dijk, defenders don't win the Ballon d'Or. The last one was Cannavaro. It was in 2003, I think. Or might have even been before then. So that's the other thing. I know loads of people say, oh, African players haven't won it. Centre-halves don't win it. And, you know, what more could Van Dijk do if we win a quadruple to win it? What can you do? But yeah, like for me, he should be in the discussion, mate. Like for me, I think he's one of the most influential players on any team. Like De Bruyne for City, Trent for us, and Van Dijk. That's why we finished where we finished last year, because Van Dijk weren't there. So for me, mate, I just think he's not appreciated anywhere near as much as he should be. He's a ridiculous talent.
We need to start. People need to start recognizing Trent's ability as opposed to saying he's as good. Oh, our right back's as good. No, it's not. Look at the stats. It's indisputable. But as everyone says, defensive players don't win it. But Trent is generational and doesn't really play as a right back. Plays in what can only be described as the Trent position. No one else can seem to do it.
Yeah.
This has been LFC Transfer Room. This has been can Mane win the Ballon d'Or? And it's a unanimous no. We think Real Madrid need to get it for Benzema. We will be back tomorrow, hopefully with more positive Liverpool news. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll catch you on the next one.